I didn't expect that to be the extended version. Oh, okay, let's. If that's enough. I did not expect that to be the extended version of that. I was expecting like just the action packed. But does anybody remember Hercules? The warrior guy, starring Kevin Sorbo. Well, today's topic is not about that, but I just had this like idea to play that clip back, and I think in the future, I want to just take that beginning part and make it part of my intro. Like I was just like thinking about like making an opening because I'm watching other friends and like, for example, Pops has an awesome song at the end of his show right now. If you know Pops. And yes, I know I have a big red thing on my face right now. Maybe if I sit sideways, I can hide it. There we go. Now you can't see it. And this is not a tech stream necessarily tonight, but I am very tempted to create a lookup table where basically a lookup table is interesting. So I have one in OBS right now, and this is not even the intended topic, but I think this would be quite instructive. So over here you got my chroma key, right? And somewhere I have a lookup table. I think it's applied to my camera. Let's see here. Filters. Here we are. We got a LUT, right? You got LUT right there. And what a LUT does is that's terrible. You can turn on the chroma key if we want, but a LUT literally just messes with the colors. So like when I turn off the LUT or the lookup table, you barely see a difference. Okay, it's off, on, off, on. It's very subtle. So what the heck is a lookup table? I mean, this is not, like I said, once again, like we're not going to dwell on this topic, but I don't even know what lookup table is. So if we go here, I downloaded a lookup table that was recommended to me at the time I needed one, and I believe it's just it takes colors and it looks for like alternate colors. Let me rephrase that. It directly translates colors. So if you have like a satellite map of the Earth, it'll take like the dark shade of green that represents foliage or tree cover, and it'll make it into a lighter shade of green automatically. Excuse me. Yeah, so anyway, hope I didn't blow out anyone's eardrums there. So anyway, let me get my list up on screen while I sit like this, like I'm on a yearbook. Oh, I forgot to shave. Who cares? I meant to shave, but it's probably a good thing I didn't, because I probably would have eviscerated myself. Hey, what up, Snowdub? Good to see you, Snowdub. Did I ever add Snowdub to the thingy? I think I ask this question every week, and then I type in his name and it pops up with his link. Or not. It does not pop up with his link. So that answers that question. You know what? We're going to add you to the Stream Elements thing real quick right now, because we need to promote your ass. We need to like get, like, maybe I shouldn't say promote your ass, because now it sounds like I'm talking about Mike Roush. That's something Mike Roush would say, right? Mike Roush would be like, we need to promote your ass. But if you excuse me for 1 second, I'm just gonna sign. Oh, whoa, wrong sign in there, buddy. I'm sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. There we go. Okay, good. I got this, y'all. Y apostrophe. So we're gonna talk about colonialism today. So let me just get my Google Notes up on screen, and we're gonna double check real quick. So I got my chat bot. We're gonna go to chat commands, and we're going to find out if we have a Snowdub. And apparently we do not have a Snowdub. So we're gonna add Snowdub music and entertainment right now, because it is not right. Oof, that's a tricky one. So we got Snowdub, we got Snowdub music and entertainment. So it's like, oh good, okay, this is the right channel. Okay, good. I was worried it was your live channel. I want to add you to the list right now before I forget, because like I will forget, because I've evidently forgotten multiple times. Okay, so the command for Snowdub will be SNO, and when that happens, it'll say Snowdub, Jolly, let me know if you want me to put a particular blurb. So the idea is that when somebody types the word exclamation point snow. Hey, what's up, Snacks? We got Snack. Oh yeah, and I do want to say I should be saying this in the beginning in the name of Prestige. Today we are streaming live on YouTube and TwitterX, and I want to thank Snacks and Friends for representing us on TwitterX. But anyway, I think we already got Snacks programmed into this. Do we have Snacks? Let's see. But yeah, if you want it to say like subscribe to Snow Double, if you want it to say like if you like booty breaks, got you. I think this is the right channel, right? Is this the right channel, or am I looking at the wrong channel? Let me see. Actually, I should know better. Let's see. That's the right. This is your regular channel where you do normal live streams and stuff. So that's what we're gonna put in the list. So I'm just gonna put subscribe to Snow Dub, but let me know if you want to put like any other words in there. Like right now, I'm just gonna say subscribe to Snow Dub for puppets and hoes and booty. Puppets and pimpin'. Puppets and pimpin'. Yeah, you have every right to demand that I change that. But for now, we're going to activate the command, and I'm not going to fix it until this show is over. So, right now, we should now have a chat command here. And since Snacks is in the chat, you know, I think the least we could do is program Snacks and Friends into the thingamajig, right? And of course, when you go to look up Snacks and Friends, you gotta type the word Gator in, otherwise you'll never find his channel. Ever. And you know what? While I add Gator to the thing, we're gonna play a clip from Gator's channel. Well, it's not Gator's channel. It's Gator's father's channel, of course. Gator, I am your father. Oh no! Okay, that's something that Gator would say. Oh no! You're my father! Okay. Uncle Yoda! Okay, I apologize if that's not a good Gator imitation there. But we'll play a clip while I go get that teed up. And then after that, I will focus on the entertainment. Okay, Uncle Yoda, I got a frog and another frog. Oh my god, I'm sweating like a pig. Oh yeah, so this is interesting. I stumbled into this weird band the other day, and some people really love these bitches. I mean, chicks. And they like look like a ska band or some crap, right? And what's interesting is, it's like one of those routines where you gotta hold on to the trumpet, right? You gotta do all this stuff. They're like dancing like the fucking Rockettes. And then you got that one girl who's smiling a lot. And I got a question. Is this like one of those formulaic, you know, Japanese bands where it's like, you know, they train them to like, you know, for maximum idolization? I mean, like, this girl's got a piano in her hand, and then they dance like, at the end they start dancing like strippers. So, I may not have booty breaks, but we'll have this, alright? We'll have this instead of a booty break, alright? And those triangles in the back remind me of the work of, those triangles remind me of the work of Terrence, what the hell is that guy's name? You know, the Terrence guy. The guy who with the fucking bullshit pseudoscience, you know, the guy, he'd be like, oh, like, 1 times 1 is 2. Or he says it more like, 1 times 1 is 2. But, like, what is that shit? So, those triangles remind me of a link somebody sent me on Reddit a few weeks ago, where they were talking about unlimited free energy, which is, like, my trigger word. And so their claim was that if you build a triangle that looks literally very much like the triangle on the back, but in 3D, you would get the ability to extract energy from the environment. But the asshole who built it was actually transmitting energy from like a wall socket to a coil to the triangle thing. So it's like, well, clearly he didn't really demonstrate he could pull energy out of the atmosphere. But let's get to the part where they dance like strippers. I'm sorry, that's not nice of me. I apologize. They're very professional, and I learned something new. See that horn that's white? That's not plastic. It's a zinc nickel alloy. Apparently, the composition of the alloy impacts the timbre of the horn. My almost 80-year-old girl loves Asian girly videos. I respect that. Wait. Oh. I just unmuted the sound. So, whose sound was that again? My sound or the video? Because I made a deliberate effort to make that sound audible. I did. I tried very hard. That's what she said. All right, let's verify it right now. I made a deliberate effort to make that sound. There's no sound! Oh my god, thank you, David Glenn. I'm not muted anymore. How dare you accuse me of being muted? Oh, you're right. The sound was muted. I apologize, everybody. So you get to see the girls. You didn't even get to see the song yet. Right, yeah, now you got the music. You got the music, right? It's that song from the Chips Ahoy commercial. Remember the commercial for the Chips Ahoy cookies? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to show you. So yeah, that horn is a zinc nickel alloy, apparently. My late mother bought a Yamaha guitar as well. She played it in the church band. They were part of they were called the Holy Family Players. I think they were called the Players. So my mom was a player in the early 90s. She was a real player, but a musical player, not like one of those players. But yeah, so apparently it's like a very large ska band or something. I don't know what you call this, to be honest. But that's a Tommy Dorsey tune. What's up, Pop Culture Mechanic? That's called Sing Sing with a Swing. Yeah, Gator Star Wars clips are indeed classics. Woo! Did they dance like Go-Go Girls yet? That's what I'm paying for. Maybe I skipped that part. That's alright. I respect their professionalism and their uniforms, or whatever they're wearing. I mean, they're just like band uniforms, I guess, right? So yeah, I added popcorn, I added Snow Dub, and I added snacks to the chat command list. So if you type SNO or ! Snacks, you will get automatic link to both. If you're wondering why my shirt is stretched in a funny way, it's because I have the back of my shirt being lifted onto the back of my seat so that the sweat can evaporate from my back. Alright, let's get to the topic now. Let me get my Google notes up on screen because I made an effort. You know, it's really good that I got a right side screen. You guys can't see the zit on my face if I'm looking over here now, can you? So here we go. So we got a couple subjects here. So let's see here. Gameplay, instructional, to the unboxing. Oh, damn it. I left my Bluetooth adapter downstairs. That's right. That shit would have been boring anyway. All right, let's talk about colonialism, space colonialism. You guys ready for some space colonialism? I'm dead serious here about space colonialism, and we're gonna move this window to my right so that I can hide the blemish on my face. Man, I'm gonna put some petroleum jelly on it before I go to bed. All right, indigenous astronomies and astrocolonialism. Jeez, that's a long article. And you got this guy from a Canadian university. No offense, Pop Culture Mechanic, but, you know, in this guy's particular case, I mean, hell, you're a tradesman, so you know the deal with these, with the universities in your land. Okay, so let me just find the right article, because I want to find the article that gets the most comedic impact. You know? Oh, yeah, so this lady, here we go. So I discovered this lady named Fatima. This tension has nothing to do with the Mother of God, right? Fatima is she's a former astrophysicist, and her thing is wearing fashionable clothing throughout her videos. Yeah, I bet, Pop. Yeah, I saw that right when I see that little logo. I already know what what I got in store for me, man. And look, I mean, it's good to like get a balanced view, but once you listen to both sides of an argument, you are empowered to criticize the other side. So, you know, there's that. And also, I think it's important to be diplomatic. I think it's important to hear out the arguments of your friends. I got quite a few, a good handful of left-leaning friends. I mean, I live in New York. And to me, it's important that I want to treat them with the respect that I want to be treated with, so that they're more likely to hear me out. And it's something I get into debates with people sometimes about, where like someone on, you know, that's near my side of the aisle will argue that I shouldn't be so conciliatory towards people who, you know, oppose me, and just like, or oppose my worldview. But it's like, I know I'm not going to convince somebody who disagrees with one of my talking points by, you know, insisting upon it. You know, I need to win them over some other way. So anyway, let's give this, let's see if we can skim through this real quick. So this is a telescope controversy. Oh, this is so fucking cool. Look at that picture right there. X-ray, gamma rays. Or because I'm so handsome, I don't have gamma rays. I emit glamour rays. I'm sorry, that's gay. But yeah, I got glamour rays. She got X-rays, gamma rays. Gamma rays are super high energy, very short wavelength, super deadly, will more than cook you. They will more than cook you. X-rays, you know, if you go to the right part of the universe, or you stand next to a thermonuclear explosion, you can get free X-rays. Like in that movie The Day After. You remember the movie The Day After with John Lithgow? When the nuclear bomb goes off and everyone gets zapped with X-rays, and you see like the people standing in the street right before they get vaporized, you see, and you see their bones. They look like the freaking skeleton from the Halloween, you know, like the skeleton people put on their lawns. UV, ultraviolet. Typically I'll use a UV filter when I want to image the planet Venus. I don't currently use that filter. Optical, light that we see with our eyes. Infrared, which includes both the deep red, the parts of the red spectrum that we cannot see, as well as heat itself. And then radio, which is, you know, speaks for itself.
Light in the approximate range of wavelengths that the human eye can see.
Let me know if you can hear
so their
Fatima.
basic mechanics use lenses and mirrors in a way more analogous.
I'm going to put my headphones on so I don't echo.
But the thing about glass mirrors is that if you try to make one more than about 8 meters across, it'll collapse under its own weight. A neat trick to get around that problem is to segment the mirrors. The Keck telescopes, for example, pushed up to 10 meters with 36 segments.
Yo, how cool is that? So remember the James Webb telescope? How it's got like, you know, these hexagonal mirrors. So that was actually something, a technology that was pioneered, I think, in the early 2000s or probably in the 90s. And basically what you're looking at is, you're looking at, as she calls it, a segmented mirror. Because if you make one large mirror, yeah, I know, right, David? No offense, but it's true. And also, I'm sorry, you know what insults me? You know what insults me? Maybe not insults me, but I do feel a little bit triggered about something. Can you guess what triggers me about those glasses, guys? I'm going to continue talking about mirrors, and then we'll revisit what triggers me about those glasses. I mean, it doesn't really trigger me, but it is something that I will give you guys my personal peeve about. So anyway, segmented mirrors, obviously, she said it right. Okay, I'll give it that. You know, I definitely got to give it to her there. You know, she's describing it quite, you know, concisely, reasonably, and accurately. So anyway, segmented mirror, as you see here, is an alternative to having one big mirror, because the big mirror will, like she said, collapse under its weight or flex and warp under its weight. Either way, you're not going to have desirable optical characteristics. A segmented mirror is cool because you can also configure them to have what we call adaptive optics. So adaptive, oh yeah, yeah, there you go. You nailed it, David, nailed it. And why does that get me? Because one, people are stealing my style. This is my style, okay? This is for people with a disability. I have a disability. I am nearsighted. And this affectation is the only benefit I get, is I get to wear cool fucking glasses in exchange for having a disability. And clearly, this young lady does not have this disability that I have. And yet, she sees fit to do the equivalent of rolling around in a wheelchair. I'm right, this is exactly the same thing as rolling around. I'm kind of trolling just a little bit here, but yeah, this is just like getting up in a wheelchair, because you saw a stylish wheelchair. Like one day you go to Comic-Con You see some guy, he got like a freaking steampunk wheelchair, and you're like, I need to get me a wheelchair. But the difference is the crippled guy, or no offense, the guy with the legitimate disability. Let's be, you know, cool here, because I got friends. We got a good friend in the community, as you know, with a legitimate, you know, disability. And he's got a cool wheelchair. I hope he gets to go back to using it in the near future. But anyway, our boy Tron, the legendary Tron, you know, like imagine I saw Tron and I was jealous of his wheelchair. So I go out and I buy a fucking electric wheelchair and I start rolling around with it. And, you know, we go to meet up to hang out at Comic-Con, me and legendary Tron. And Tron's like, what the fuck you doing? Why are you fucking why are you fucking rolling around an electric chair, Ron? I mean, he would say in the, you know, in his electronic voice, he'd be like, I think he uses a British voice. DJ Ronnie G, why are you rolling around in a wheelchair, you asshole? You know, and he would be right to say that. And yeah, like you said, probably wearing them to look smart. She might be doing it for fashion. This lady is like, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but she's a fashionista. I would call her a fashionista because, like I said, like look at the wardrobe changes. I'm gonna guess she like see, I wear a white T-shirt so that I can, you know, record a video on separate days of the week. And, you know, I can record a video on separate days. And, ooh, oh, my VCR. There we go. I wear a white shirt for wardrobe continuity. I think he's doing all right, but here's my problem. Apparently, he's uploaded like a number of videos since I've last spoken to him, and I don't get fucking notifications. I don't understand. Like I can assist him in managing his account, and yet I'm not getting notifications. And that's not his fault. It's obviously the YouTube system, or it could just be a matter of timing. I don't want to just say it's all YouTube's fault. I'm like the first person to like roll my eyes when people bitch about you know, content creator suppression, because I always like to, you know, go for the more mundane explanation first. But I mean, so let's take a look. Let's see how Tron is doing. Let's go check out his channel, because I think we like Tron a lot more than people we don't. Oh, but before we do that, let me finish briefly. Well, let me just, you know, close out. So yeah, segmented mirrors. What's the purpose? Basically, we have this thing called adaptive optics. So one of the things you could do with a segmented mirror is vibrate the mirrors 1,000 times a second. So you might shoot like a laser up through the atmosphere, or you might use some other method of measuring this twinkle in the atmosphere. So like, you know, if you got like some clouds in the atmosphere, you got some haze in the atmosphere, you know, like anything like that, the laser allows you to get a baseline, because we know the camera or the sensor or whatever they're using to look at the laser signal, we know what a laser is supposed to look like on the imaging equipment. Once you know what the laser is supposed to look like, then you know that if there's any difference in what that laser is doing when you shoot it through the atmosphere, you know that that difference is being caused by the atmosphere. And I'm definitely giving the dumbed down explanation. This is not the definitive, proper scientific explanation here. And so essentially they're able to compensate for twinkling stars. So when you look up and you see a star twinkling, it's not actually twinkling, it's our atmosphere that's causing that. And so using adaptive optics by, you know, measuring that twinkle and vibrating those mirrors 1,000 times a second to compensate, it's a step above lucky imaging, which is what I use when I want to image the moon using video recordings, or a high frame rate, or a high-speed camera on a planet. And what's cool about this particular mirror is you'll notice that you see the silver part that looks like a mirror, but what's this crap in the middle? Guess what? That crap in the middle is a reflection of what's in front of it. So see this truss structure up here? So essentially that truss structure is basically holding this. And you can even see the little zigzags, see the little X's up here? You can actually see down here the X pattern repeating. So there's actually a mirror in the middle of this cell being suspended by cables many feet above, or quite a few feet above everything. And I could tell it's quite a few feet up because not only is this guy standing below the mirror or above the mirror getting the selfie, but you can see some guardrails in the corners here. So anyway, bottom line is that the way this works is light actually comes down along the sides of this truss, bounces off the mirror. The light is then basically pointed in a conical shape, like a V or A, and then the light that comes, the light that's collected by all of these mirrors is then recentered on the smaller mirror, and it looks like there's like a little hole in the middle that it doesn't actually use. So there must be some method where they use the hardware or the software, the imaging software, or some combination of hardware and software to stitch the image back together in a cohesive manner. But bottom line is that this is a way to not only get a larger mirror than you would otherwise get if you were using a single mirror, but this also allows you to compensate for atmospheric conditions. So now getting to our friend Tron. Let's see here. We're going to click on the legendary Tron. And I recorded a few video vlogs on his channel. And we have, okay, so luckily, like, I was worried that I was being really negligent and missing all of his videos. So the moderately good news is that I only missed his 2 recent videos, which is still behind. I mean, January and March. I'm a fucking slacker. So here's what we're gonna do. I urge you, hell, you guys want to watch? Let's watch Tron's video right now. We like Tron. He's our friend.
Hey, the Grid family and fellow YouTubers.
Hope it's not too loud.
I've been all right. I'm healing up slowly, and I have been resting up when I get a chance. Nowadays, I have been watching movies and stuff on YouTube. I'm just tired of being in the hospital, but I must heal. Besides that, how's everyone else? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to you when I can.
Does
Love
anybody
y'all.
does
End of
anybody
line.
want to leave a comment on Tron's next video here? Let's go watch his next video. And what the heck? That's what you see me. I'm clicking the like button, and it's. Let's make sure the like is
Hey, the
measured.
Grid family and fellow.
What the heck was that? I can't click the like button? Oh, there we go. Okay. It's just a glitch. Maybe it's my color settings or something. Alright, so we got 1 like there. Newton's reflecting mirror design. That is correct, David Glenn. Alright. And I think you guys
Hey, the Grid family and fellow YouTubers.
I think you guys should, you're already watching the video on my time. Although I think you guys should watch the video again. Give the man his watch hours, And then I want you guys to, please consider commenting on his videos, all right? And, do I have a membership? I mean, of course I have a membership, but what tier is my membership? Let's see what tier. Man, the scroll bar on my mouse is so jerky. I have to clean it with alcohol again. So I have the 6-month badge right now. And it looks like he's got 1 tier. So he's not, see, Tron is not a grifter. He has 1 membership tier.
Hey, the Grid family.
The link button is doing the same thing for me. Okay, the like button is doing the same thing for you guys too. And let me know if you, I'm going to leave a link in the chat. This is Tron's most recent video. Tron's most recent video. Alrighty, so now let's go listen to our
Family
boy.
and fellow YouTubers. I've been all right. I'm healing up slowly, and I have been able to get up in my wheelchair for a while, once
kick
a while,
ass.
but I'm healing, so I can only handle it close to the 2 hours mark.
Cool,
I'm hoping that improves over time. Anyway, lately I have been resting up and watching WWE stuff. I'm a wrestling fan, and favorite wrestler is Cody Roses. Let me know if you're interested in wrestling. If so, who's your favorite wrestler? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to you when I can. Love y'all. End of line.
So you heard the man. If you like wrestling, leave a comment on Tron's video. I put the link right up here. Yeah, I'm getting that blank like button, but as long as the like is going through, I'm a happy camper. So there we go. Let's just send good vibes to our friend, all right? So now let's get back to astrocolonialism.
And TMT would take this to the next.
Okay, TNT. TNT is a telescope that they want to build in Hawaii, but the problem is there's these people called the protectors of the land, and they're like basically professional protesters masquerading as they are technically indigenous descendants, but I mean, I'd say they're standing in front of progress if you ask me. But anyway,
level by using 500 individually controlled.
See that? individually controllable mirror cells.
Segments to make one massive mirror. Do you have any idea how big the dome for a telescope with a 30-meter primary mirror would be? 20 stories. The whole complex would cover 5 acres of land. This
Only 5
telescope
acres.
is going to be huge. And bigger is better, right? Of course it is.
An
This
acre's
is
not that big.
America, goddammit. We didn't win the space race by thinking small. So how much better would this bigger telescope make our understanding of the universe? Here's an example. Let's say we wanted to determine the mass of Sagittarius star, the supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy. We'd do it by measuring the orbits of the stars closest into it and using the numbers that describe those orbits to calculate the black hole's mass. Astronomers have already done this, but with TMT, we could do it better. See, when you make a measurement of something, you don't just get a single number, you also have to estimate how certain you are that the number is right. What's the margin of error? You don't just get X, you get is very much still prioritized over the remaining indigenous population in Hawaii today. Basic necessities cost a fortune because of a shipping law that protects American trade interests. Investors abusing the lowest...
Okay, so it sounds to me that we don't need to be up in arms about building a telescope. We need to be petitioning our lawmakers to eliminate that law that protects American trade interests. Because, I mean, Hawaii is an American, state, right? It is a U.S. state. So why are we, protecting American trade interests against a state? So if this is a thing, I'm just going to take her at face value on this, then this is one of the things we need to do in order to help lower the cost of living for people who live on the Hawaiian Islands, as well as to help elevate their standard of living, and maybe some of them would be less salty about having a telescope built on their sacred land or something.
Property taxes of any state have created one of the highest rates of homelessness in the US. Over-tourism is so bad, there was a water shortage in Maui that led to water rationing for residents.
The Merchant Marine Act of 1920 is a United States federal statute that provides for the promotion and maintenance of the American merchant marine. Among other purposes, the law regulates maritime commerce in U.S. waters between U.S. ports. All right, there's the kicker right there. The first part seems like, okay, promotion and maintenance of the American merchant marine sounds good. Among other purposes, the law regulates maritime commerce. Already, I mean, look, regulating things ain't so bad, but it's like regulating it in lieu of not regulating. What's the alternative? Like, what are we, 1920 is 100 years ago. So what was it in 1920 that necessitated this law? Does that state of affairs remain to be? Or does that state of affairs, is that still, a state of affairs that matters anymore? Do the protections of this act, serve a purpose in this modern world? Or is it inhibiting people? Is it, negatively affecting the lives of those who are colonized, as some might say? The Jones Act makes it illegal for boats transporting goods on American rivers being crewed by foreigners. Really? I'm surprised. I would have thought that, see, with the current state of affairs, I thought that would be, considered okay by now. So, is this something does that mean that when goods are being shipped in, they have to be transferred from the boat to the Mississippi River, for example? Like a boat can't go from the ocean up the Mississippi River if it has foreign crew, I guess, is what this means. I mean, I'm just trying to, encapsulate it, I guess, in practical terms, or, terms that I can, kind of describe in a practical manner. So we're going to skip through this a little bit.
Punishable by a $500 fine. And of course, the military presence continues to be a huge source of problems. From rendering an entire island uninhabitable through extensive bombing practice to building bases that would create what is today one of the worst sex trafficking demand problems in the country. It is
it a problem, or is it a commerce, a business opportunity? I mean, anyway, okay, I'm not opening that can of worms right now, because I feel like I should do some research in order to understand it before I advocate for something like that. But going to read on here, they can get as far as Baltimore Harbor or any coastal harbor. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of limiting, and that could drive up costs.
Reduce the land and people to literal resources for building empire. And in case it wasn't obvious, these modern problems generally impact Native Hawaiian communities the hardest. As such, a Hawaiian sovereignty movement emerged in the 1960s and 70s to fight for indigenous sovereignty. Crucial to this movement was the concept of aloha aina, or a love of the land, Hawaiian patriotism, earth, and the interconnectedness.
Wait, so did aloha aina come out during the movement in the 60s, or it was like, so it sounds like something people would, potentially say goes back prior, but
all life it sustains in Hawaiian patriotism, American astronomers have just kind of assumed that they have the right to use however they like.
They do, because Hawaii is a United States state, and that means that they only have the astronomers or institutions only have to deal with the state of Hawaii, the federal government in whatever way they have jurisdiction and or control, and local lawmakers. Now, if those lawmakers are assholes to their own, constituents, maybe the constituents think twice about electing them, perhaps part of this is when people vote because somebody has a particular letter next to their name. Perhaps that is one of the limiting factors, to achieving any kind of progress for the people concerned here. But let's keep going.
Construction of the first telescope on Mauna Kea began in 1968. Construction of the first telescope.
I don't see how a nice telescope with nice people is an obstacle to people living there, unless it's driving up property prices or something. And we're going to take a look at this in a moment, because, that sounds like a fucking complicated part of my language. That sounds complicated. Maybe it's the right thing to do, maybe it's not. I don't know. But that does sound complicated.
On Mauna Kea began in 1968, just 10 years after Hawaii became a state, when a University of Hawaii...
Well, yeah, it became a state, therefore it's available for use as any other state. Hell, the federal government built a freaking armory in my town. I know I can't violate that land. It's kind of like, one of those things. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking out of my rectum right here.
Decided he could do some cool research up there. It was actually...
And he's probably right.
Gerard Kuiper of Kuiper Belt.
Ah, that's cool. The man who coined the name Kuiper Belt. That's super cool.
Fame, who first pitched building telescopes on Mauna Kea.
Good idea.
But NASA ended up giving Jeffries the contract, to which Kuiper said, quote, his mountain had been, quote, stolen from him. Colonizer entitlement, man. It's something else. So the state...
I don't know. Whatever.
Leases all of the land above 12,000 feet to the University of Hawaii
I don't know. I'm amused.
2033, with the terms that they can do whatever they want up there, so long as the land would be returned in good order and condition.
I'll admit, that sounds like some eminent domain type bullshit right there. And we know how eminent domain goes sometimes, where it's like, the government wants to build a highway. They show up, they're like, oh, we'll pay you fair market value for your house. And it's like, is it fair market value? Can they do better? Would I have done better selling my house before the government showed up to do eminent domain? And I remember Elon Musk was getting some flack for that in Texas, but it was like really the local government that was responsible. So it's like, you want to make an issue with the local government. Don't make it like, oh, Elon evil. It's like, go to the local government, go to the people who authorized it, or go to the people who Elon went to, or not Elon personally, but, the SpaceX management staff, executive people, whatever they're called. They went to the local government in that part of Texas to make arrangements, And so you want to make a documentary, you want to make a hit piece, not her, just people in general who want to make a hit piece or news organization, go to the local government. Give them a hard time about it.
And for some people, this was great. NASA and the university were jazzed about the science they would produce up there, and the settler-run Hawaiian government was anticipating an economic windfall for the state. However, the deal was opposed by Native Hawaiians and environmentalists who were concerned about preserving Mauna Kea's cultural significance.
What does that mean? How does that? I'm sorry. Maybe I have to like look into this deeper, but I don't really see how a large telescope takes away from the cultural significance. If anything, I think a telescope makes a beautiful backdrop. Granted, I might be a bit biased. I think it's something worth thinking about.
And unique ecology. Here's how Jeffries made sense of this opposition.
The Big Island is a rural community, and there are a lot of people there who are not very
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Does come off
sophisticated.
kind of messed
As
up.
you know, they feel, and in some cases I've had this said to me, that they are going to lose all access to the mountain just because of these telescope programs. The federal government is going to come in, and it's going to slowly move down the mountain, taking more and more of the mountain as more and more programs go up there, and no one will be able to get there. It is
That kind of happens to everybody in this country, however. Like there are situations like we have this concern about the woodlands throughout the mainland and federal land grabs, and there's some very interesting stories behind that. People who live next to a federal reserve generally the government wants to have they don't want to have a gap in the middle of that federal land. So if they can get that person to sell the land, make it federal, there's a couple ways they can do that. There was a mechanism where the person can continue to live on that land, but they are no longer allowed to sell the land afterwards. So I guess after they die or after they're done living there, that land becomes rewilded, I guess. But when the person doesn't take the money from in the first place, then they send a private developer out who is like a surrogate of the government, as I understand, as was explained by some legal person in an interview some months back. So I mean, I guess it doesn't make it, two wrongs don't make it right, but it isn't a unique situation to Hawaiians, in my opinion. And let's see
It's
here.
very hard to fight fear of this kind, a formless, baseless concern, except through the same kind of backwoods interaction.
Perhaps this Jeffries guy was a bit smug, but I still don't see a reason why we can't have telescopes in Hawaii. Maybe we need to, come up with a better deal. I don't know.
Considering what came next. Can you guess what came next? They built more telescopes.
Of course he did. Wonderful, awesome telescopes there. Look at that. Look at that telescope right above the clouds. How kick-ass is that? And it's like, where are these telescopes built? On volcanic soil, basically, right? It's like, it's sacred, but let's see. Let's read what we got here. Wisconsin used eminent domain for the Foxconn factory that never got built. Oh my God, it sucks. Sacred Mountains is the reason. 3 rights make a left. Oh,
Of course.
that's how we got
they
the
built
left.
another one, and another one, and then another and another, and another and another, and then a second one to go with that one.
Yep, the Keck can do stereoscopic imaging, if I understand correctly. That's why it's got 2 eyes, or 2 optical domes, basically.
And then another and another. And these aren't like little Costco telescopes.
I feel bad for the poor sucker who buys that. Oh, no, it's a National Geographic
These
branded
are
one, but it's not good.
enormous, multi-story behemoths
My dick. No, I'm sorry.
of telescopes. Today, the summit of Mauna Kea is covered in these telescopes used by professional astronomers all over the world. That's actually a little hyperbolic. Like, 2 are foreign operated, and there are a couple international collaborations, but most of them are run by American institutions. Because Hawaii's America's, of course. But the point is that today, this mountain that is sacred to Native Hawaiians who remain on their land despite their population having been decimated by colonization is covered in big-ass telescopes that exist for the benefit of bunch of
hold on.
predominantly white-
They make ass telescopes. Yeah, I wish I had the pen to my drawing tablet right now. I literally misplaced the pen to my drawing tablet. Like, I'm gonna have to tear my desk apart tomorrow or the day after. But if I had my drawing tablet pen right now, if I had the pen to my drawing tablet, I would draw an ass telescope. How cool would an ass telescope, like a telescope that looks like a butt, you know, big ass telescope? How cool would that be? Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I'm very immature.
Places. And enough time has passed now that the formless, baseless concerns of the backwoods natives have proven extremely prescient. Besides, you know,
Very
just
prescient.
turning the summit of a revered mountain into a series of science complexes, an audit conducted by the state in 1998 found that the University of Hawaii kind of dropped the ball on the whole take care of the mountain promise, citing abandoned equipment and trash, inadequate control over public access.
So interestingly, apparently the trash thing, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna go pull up a Reddit post.
Colonial power being wielded to suppress indigenous dissent of something. Think of the Dakota Access Pipeline. When it was going to be built...
fuck the Dakota Access Pipeline. So this is a fun story. So I was like, you know, being pretty objective about this one when it happened. And essentially, from what I understand, Native American reservations are run like dictatorships. So, you know, you got your tribal council or your tribal elders, whatever the heck they're called. And there's no democracy, there's no Republican form of government, or no republic is what I mean by that. I don't mean it, you know, I don't mean it in the commonly popular context, in the contemporary context. And so they already took the money. They already got the money for the fucking pipeline, you know? And so it's like the company, they're covered. They already have a right to do this shit, you know, legally. And then people find out, and some outside people maybe were shipped in or decided to fly in because they decided to care about this. But between some, I don't know, I don't even know, some combination of like professional activists, local protesters, perhaps people with a genuine interest. I'd imagine some of them were like people who care about the whole climate thing more than anything, in which case they might be using the whole, you know, native land thing as, you know, a pretext for their, you know, their climate agenda, so to speak. But maybe I'm naive, but I don't really see how a pipeline built over, you know, even the most sacred land is the thing. I mean, look, if I was to bury myself, my family, my grandparents, my ancestors in a cemetery, there comes a point where cemeteries get built on top of, and, you know, you might say two wrongs don't make a right again, but it's a thing. I mean, like, I've seen old cemeteries that have ancient, or, you know, like I'm talking tombstones from over 150 years ago in them. And it's just a matter of time before they get developed, because once all of the people who would potentially care to visit that cemetery are gone, once nobody's paying for the burial plot, it's sort of like understood that it's open season, you know what I mean? Like, just look at Europe. If they were to preserve every square, you know, mile or square kilometer of cemetery that was, you know, utilized in the past 1,000 years, there would be nowhere to live. At least that's my my opinion based on what I've heard and read about this subject. So real quick, yes, regarding ass telescopes, yes, that is basically what I mean. That is quite pretty much what I mean. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Dakota Access Pipeline, I remember when it was in the news and I looked into it, I cared about it, and I stopped caring about it.
TMT caravan from going up the mountain.
And so right here, this is gonna be great right here. So you got this guy here. So he's apparently descended from indigenous whatever, and, you know, indigenous Hawaiians. I'm sorry, I should be specific. You know, he apparently is descended from indigenous Hawaiians, but I get the perception, and I could be wrong, but I get the perception it's a LARP. You know, like, this is like a gig for him. This is like, you know, it's like, and maybe like if I, you know, couldn't find good financial opportunity, maybe I would make this my cause too. You know, if this was a way for me to make a living, maybe I would do this too.
Shutting down the groundbreaking ceremony and briefly delaying construction.
All these others are illegal. For what? For your greed to look in the sky? You guys can't even take...
Well, is it greed to look into the sky? I mean, like, you know, it's not like anybody makes money imaging the sky. On the other hand, are there places that we could build telescopes that are not Hawaii? Because I mean, I can see where like Hawaii is an alluring place to build observatories. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine working there, going to the beach. But I always remember someone who worked in Hawaii, who is from New York, and he said that people could be somewhat territorial there. Like, you go to, it's like that movie, the Sarah Marshall movie. There's that scene where the guy goes to the beach, and the Hawaiian guy, the Hawaiian girl takes her new mainland friend over to the beach, and the guy goes, "Oh, hey, I remember you from breakfast." And the guy's, there's a scene in the movie where the guy goes, "Hey, you know, can I get this orange juice mixed with vodka?" And the guy smiles and like, "Oh yeah, sure thing. I'll be happy to get you a cocktail to mix with your morning drink." So later on in the movie, the guy sees the guy from the restaurant. He goes, "Hey, I remember you from the morning." And the guy punches him in the face. He's like, "Oh, you're the asshole who ordered a drink in the morning. What kind of jerk off does that?" And it was like, so clearly the guy was being fake at the resort, but he didn't really like this guy. And the fact that now this tourist is hanging out at the beach party, he's getting all uptight about it, along with his other friends who are local. And apparently that's actually kind of a thing. I don't know to what extent. I don't know how accurately the movie, characterizes that. But, you know, like, on one angle, I can empathize, like, if I lived on an island. I mean, I do live on an island. And if it was a tourist destination and, you know, I felt like I always had to deal with outside tourists. I mean, I live in New York. I bump into tourists all the time, although it's quite different here. We're packed like sardines in some areas over here, and we have a very diverse population. Perhaps us New Yorkers are more inclusive than people of Hawaii. On the other hand, perhaps if us New Yorkers had to take a back seat to tourists, maybe we would be salty and less tolerant of outsiders as well.
Take care of this place.
This tension escalated the following year when the TMT project quietly began moving equipment up the mountain, and in response, organizers mobilized
Quietly moving equipment up the mountain. I love when they pull a fast one.
again, with over 100 protectors setting up camp on the summit to blockade.
Like, what the fuck is a protector? What are they protecting exactly? Because, I mean, you know, they wouldn't get the federal permit to build the observatory if they were going to fuck up the land. You know, it's like, all they want is to, you know, make a path for a road and put a telescope on the mountain. Now, that said, I can, once again, empathize if people who live here genuinely like to make use of the mountain region. You know, they want to just hang out there, go camping, look around. You know, I can empathize. But, I don't know, something doesn't add up. Something about it, I have trouble, I don't want to say I have trouble empathizing. I guess I'm trying to empathize right now, but at risk of sounding cavalier about it, I don't exactly see the big deal. Like, I can see elements of why it might be a big deal to somebody living there.
Cruise.
And that's another thing. Like the land is like when a volcano erupts, it turns into a wasteland. But that ashy soil, or you know, sometimes the remaining soil, especially from a pyroclastic flow, is very fertile. You know, like it's very good for plants and stuff like that.
And in response to their response, the police were brought in and subsequently arrested 12 protectors at the mountain's visitor center and 11 more at the summit. Significantly,
oh my god, how awkward is it? Look at that. That guy's definitely like part native Hawaiian, I think, if I'm guessing based on the complexion. He's got to arrest his own, you know, fellow islander. That's got to be awkward. Like, I bet like this guy be like, "You sell out. You sold out to your own kind." I'm just guessing though. I don't know if that's what he's saying.
Visitor center. When I originally thought of making a video about TMT over
wardrobe
a year
change
ago, I was planning to just explain basically what I've already explained here. Fight far-right extremism around the world that oppresses Jewish people and Arab people and Muslims in Gaza, with over 25,000 dead and nearly 2 million more displaced.
I empathize to some extent on this angle,
famine-like conditions.
but I don't really care to, like, you know, mix astronomy, colonialism with this shit. And so my biggest fear right now, I'm worried that, you know, certain groups might ruin astronomy. They might ruin my hobby, my area of interest. I don't want to see my hobby and area of interest being ruined. Luckily, right now, this is the only content creator doing content on this, and I think it is important that we get multiple points of view, but I don't know. I wish instead of like bitching about it, we maybe just talk about like, okay, here's the issue. Here's what the people are protesting about, and maybe we could meet each other halfway with a solution. You know, I would rather go that route. And like I think with the Israeli-Palestinian thing, the same could be done, but unfortunately, I think both sides are very gung-ho to their respective sides. They've dug in their heels. It's a challenge I'm not going to touch with a 5-foot pole right now. There's always the Atacama Desert. Is that the one in Chile? I believe that also has some... in fact, yes, I did save some Reddit posts, which I might have to save for next week because it's amazing how energized I get doing this show. I'm probably going to have trouble sleeping for like an hour, but the sooner I try to sleep, the better. But here we go. So hang in here. Let me just see. Let me just find this here. Okay, so actually that's a different topic. I do want to talk about Avi Loeb, the UFO guy, but not right now. So this was this has something to do with the protectors of the land. So let's get this on if I can just click on the oopsie. Give me a second here, guys. Okay, so supposedly this is heaps of trash and abandoned structures left by the protesters on Mauna Kea. And some of the counterpoints were that these were actually... Let me just save the image and open it to a picture viewer so we can enlarge it. Like my dick. No, okay, I'm sorry. So here we go. Like, so, you know, this actually looks like they were making an effort to dispose of waste by putting it inside of some kind of waste basket. So even though that does look like an eyesore, I don't see the issue. This looks like just trash discarded. Now, up here in the corner, you see these broken down tents. Or tent frames, and some of the people in the comments, or like one guy in the comments, was saying it was because the weather gets very crazy up there, and when it gets very windy and very stormy, gale force winds or what have you, they take down the tent and then they just leave the frame there. But it still isn't an excuse to leave the frame, so I don't buy that excuse. And let me know what you guys think. I mean, I'll read the comment that actually purports to claim to know the answer to this one here. If I could just get the thingamajig, let me see here. Okay, here we are. So one of the responses was, let's see, get context. I said I want context. Okay, this is a completely false representation. It has been storming in capital letters violently for the last 6 days. I was just there 2 weeks ago, and I have been there 8 days, August and September. The camp is extremely clean. Part of the commitment to the Kapu Aloha is that not even a grain of rice is left on the ground. Everyone picks up after themselves and others. Please don't spread hate and lies about this effort. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not seeing this like grain of rice bullshit here. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm seeing like busted up crap over here. And it's like, okay, you're gonna have a windy day? Go pick up your shit before the wind happens. How about that, you know? Like, you're the protector of the mountain. Go protect, you know, and clean up after yourself, because apparently in the act of protecting, you decided to leave crap behind. And maybe some of this is left by vagrants, homeless vagrants. Maybe it's not all, maybe I am also guilty of misrepresentation on this matter. Reminds me of hippies. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's one of the things I agree. That's kind of like where I'm going with this here. And then someone else, this is, I'm not really quite about this, but I can understand. the sentiment. I would have respected their movement if they themselves didn't start making and selling paraphernalia that states what they believe in. Your case means nothing if you're using it for profit. And I'd say if these people are, anti-capitalism, if they're making a case that, like, the evil, capitalist or what have you is, messing our shit up, then using the same means, does make it a bit hypocritical. But that's a big if. And I do want to say hi to Lion Ratton. I hope you're having a wonderful evening, and I want to thank you for dropping in today. Right now, we're just, hopefully I'll finish up on the topic of astro-colonialism in a moment. But yeah, I'm sorry, not... when people say God, I can't, why am I getting this tongue twisted here? Colonizers. Yeah, I don't know why that was a mouthful. This community is still frothing at the mouth for anything to support their narrative. It's infectious. The more one, quote, side runs with a polarizing, poorly informed narrative, the more the other side will. Okay, well, positive feedback loop. Okay, here we are. Seriously, though, here's a response. Seriously, though, the astronomy community held tons of public hearings before the TMT contracts were signed. They were poorly attended, and some were even boycotted by the protesters. So if that's true, it's like tough shit, It's like fuck this mountain protector bullshit. If you're a mountain protector and you boycotted the meetings, I mean, I'd hate to sound like those assholes who say that you can't complain about the elected officials if you didn't participate in the election, because you'll hear that sometimes. People would say that, oh, you didn't vote, you don't have a right to complain. But I do believe that not voting is sort of a way of being a conscientious objector, or being, basically like, it's like a conscientious abstention. And I do want to say hi to QEPX. I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. So anyway, yeah, let's keep going here. Let's keep hearing this out. Yeah, now, when you go to the hearings or talk stories, they attack you, put your name on social media, shame you, and call you... Oh, wait, I read the wrong one. Wait, which one am I reading? Wait, okay, yeah. And call you assholes or racists. I saw a group of protesters gang up on the astronomers and other speakers at a Q&A session one time, calling them racists, saying they have no right to speak. If you share facts that counter the Hawaiian narrative, and then this guy goes, you can still break bread with people whom you disagree with. I always thought TMT should host open barbecues on the hillside. Bring a bunch of interested astronomers, project planners, engineers, etc., and let whoever wants to join the party join. I see that there would be risks of disruptions, but I do like the idea of, having a good faith barbecue, like having a positive activity where people, like you said, could break bread. I really do think that, like that's an interesting idea. I don't know if it would work with somebody who's truly entrenched in opposing the whole thing, because, look, you could have the most diplomatic approach, and look, even bad people have a diplomatic approach, and, historically, there are times where you might say, just because this person is talking, politely and kindly, I don't want to give any quarter. Like if Vaush became, president and started pushing commie stuff, if he was polite, would I want to attend his commie meetings to have a say in his form of government when I am of the impression that my worldview probably won't get very much clout in that situation? So I can empathize with people on the other side of this argument here. The non-astronomers, the locals, I can empathize in that regard. Let's keep going here. I lost my train of thought here. I forgot where I was reading. Here we are. These are important issues for everyone involved. Once you have context for someone, You know their neighborhood. You know about their kids. You root for the same sports teams. You hear their struggles. It's much harder to negate that person's existence in your mind. That goes both ways. The astronomy-related organizations in Hawaii, of which I'm a part of, can and should be doing a lot more to build community. That's an interesting idea. Like, I see it as a double-edged sword, but I respect the sentiment of this individual's comment. I really do. And this person says, I have done this on many occasions, but in the end result is that they know where to find my Facebook, Twitter, etc., and then they publicly attack me. Post shame on Sloth Rogan, that's his name, everywhere they can. You can see few others in the thread echoing these same experiences. True, I read the entire thread at work, I mean on my lunch break, and yeah, I did see a lot echoing that today. I also add that astronomers also hold events like you're talking about, have telescopes out in places like Waikiki, or parks on the Big Island for anyone to come and use, hold forums and more. Outreach is not quite the same as building community. I've participated in some of the outreach events, and they're mostly one way, giving a perspective on astronomy to anyone who is interested. We need more opportunities for two-way exchanges. As you've observed, that's not going to happen on social media. That's a fair point. You know, I mean, so this is a 4-year-old post, but now let's I don't want to dwell on this too much more, right? I want to show you guys one thing before I wrap up. So real quick, you said that they were moving a telescope on Mauna Kea, right? David Glenn, let's see here. Moving telescope Mauna Kea. I definitely misspelled that.
An update on the status of 2 observatory decommissioning projects was shared during a recent meeting of the Mauna Kea Management Board.
That looks like a big pain in the ass.
In December, it was reported that the project to remove the Caltech submillimeter observatory has been paused until spring. From Greg Chun, the executive director of the University of Hawaii Center for...
I mean, they're already committed. Once you take the freaking mirror out of that frame, you're already fucking committed to this, you know? And look at that cab. That's interesting. I bet Pop Culture Mechanic would know about this here. Look at that shit. The cab angle is upward, apparently, to be able to get a better view of the thing. That's very interesting.
Helco will start to remove the transformer sometime.
Oh, they got a transformer there. No wonder the Hawaiians are up in arms. I'd be pissed off, too, if they built a transformer in my neighborhood. I mean, look, a giant robot that, you know, comes from space, that's dangerous. Yeah, and then they let's see here. So, yeah, okay, so let's get the, so let's jump topic here. So, I'm gonna clean up my screen. We're gonna, you know, once again, this is, just so you guys, if you guys want to check out more of this young lady's content, she's Dr. Fatima, former astrophysicist. I don't know why she chose not to be an astrophysicist. I think that sounds like the coolest job to have. But, you know, to each their own, of course, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and, show you guys something cool real quick. Let me just, find it. Okay, here we are gonna open up Steam. So yeah, but honestly, feel free to check out her content. All right. I hope this opens up on the correct monitor, because I think it's gonna not, which is okay, but I guess I can fix that. Wait, where did the window go? Huh. Oops. Oops, I did it again. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna close this because apparently it didn't. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna open up the Gaia star catalog. And I think we're going to open up the 5 million star version of the Gaia catalog, because otherwise it will be here all day. So this is, you know, the same app I like. This time, instead of touring the, you know, the, whatchamacallit, the dwarf planets, we're going to take a look at our immediate galactic neighborhood. Ah, shit! Pardon my language, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot to hook up my gamepad. we're probably just gonna skip the gamepad because who has time to like reload the app a second time. So the Gaia catalog is a star catalog, and I'm not sure if I'm using it correctly. Yeah, it's on Steam. I think it's like either really cheap or free. It's loading up on my main monitor right now. It's $20 or $30, I think, but I bought the $70 one recently, and I bought the $70 one, or I upgraded to the $70 version, mainly because of a feature called the Camera Path Editor, which isn't really a necessary feature, but when I touch upon it, you'll see what I'm talking about. And hope I didn't speak too loudly tonight. Mostly, I have my air conditioner running to counteract the heat from the computer, and amazingly, look how good my sound filters are. Look how good my sound filters are. Look at that. You want to see some cool shit? Alright, see the VU meter at the bottom? Watch when I turn off the filter. Look at the green bar when I turn off the sound filter in like 4 seconds. See? That's the air conditioner noise. And it's gone now. It's magic. Alright, it opened up on my top monitor, which I'm gonna just let it be. I'm not sure exactly what the consequences are of keeping it opened on my top monitor, but I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. So, right now, no gamepad support, so we're forced to use the gamepad. So it's going to be a little bit less fluidic here. Oh my god, I'm going hypersonic here. Okay, so there's our solar system right there, right guys? And you know, you can see like, wait. We're gonna freeze time. Right, so there's our solar system, and we're gonna fly out a little bit. And we're gonna try to find our nearest neighbor. And so I think it's that really bright star right there. And because it's on my other monitor, on my other graphics card, this might not be the most optimal. Oh, there we go. So see that white dot behind the sun right there? So you already got a spatial relationship with that one white dot. My guess is that is Alpha Centauri. So as you can see, Alpha Centauri is a binary star. It has 2 or more genders. Now, jokes aside, it is a binary star, which means that... Ah, shit. There it is. So, right above. So, right now we're looking at Alpha Centauri. And right here is Proxima, which is actually our nearest star. So, we just flew... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's Proxima. And you can see we got like a gas giant planet outside. And one of these days we'll dwell on that. Yeah, right, that's the VST plugin. I think they started bundling with that with OBS. Either that or it was already installed during a past installation. But anyway, and you got more planets, and because Alpha Centauri is only like 4 or 5 light years away, 4.2 light years, I think, or 4.7, that's like, you know, it's going to be like probably the easiest to spot exoplanets. But now we're going to leave Alpha Centauri and Proxima, and you can see how like the sun is in the crosshair. You can see that little selection. As I spin around, you can see some of our nearest stars. So we got Alpha Centauri, we got Sirius, we got Procyon, we got something over here. Maybe it's Tau. No, it's our own sun. We got Capella, which is pretty far out at that point, but not that far just yet. We got Procyon. But we're going to go now. We're going to do something here. So let's get our sun in the thing. So right off the bat, it is nice to get a view. But there's two things we could do here. One, we could increase the magnitude of visible stars. And when you do that, you can see a lot more stars, right? They get brighter from, you know, a farther distance. And we're going to do that. We're going to turn that off for a minute. But we're going to turn that back on after we do this. So now we're looking at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. What's up, Lady Mist? I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope Mike had a pimpin' out stream tonight. If anyone wants to type exclamation point Pacific into the chat, I do recommend checking out Pacific 414. He's currently all over Stellar Blade right now. So now a lot of this is like overlay, a galactic overlay. So the cloudy bit is the Milky Way galaxy. I wonder if Deleted Scenes has a stream coming up right now. I think he might have a stream called The Other Side of Midnight coming up any minute now, by the way. So sometimes I'll turn off the galaxy, but I think we should leave the galaxy on so you have a reference point. And what you'll notice is how like there's this radiating pattern, almost like a bicycle spoke. And how like it gets darker here and here and here. And so either these are stars, these are areas where we just haven't detected a lot of stars yet, and we're just still measuring them, or it's because our view is obstructed by other objects. So we have nebulas and other stars that are bright, blocking our view of this side, and that's why we don't see a lot of stuff here. So it might not mean there's not a lot of stars here, we just might not have a good view. And in fact, if you were to look at a map of all of the galaxies, you would see the same thing. You would see like a pattern where like it looks like there's more galaxies above and below our galaxy. But the reality is, it's not that there's less galaxies along the side. I mean, you see it right now, the side of our galaxy, looking at our galaxy through the side or from inside the disk, that is going to block our view of distant galaxies, of the galaxies. So that's why it looks as though you have way more galaxies above our galaxy and below our galaxy, but not so many off to this side. It's not, you know, a simple coincidence. It's because our galaxy is obstructing the view. But now that we have a perspective of our galaxy, we're going to do something cool. We're going to fly out further. I'm going to crank up the magnitude by a lot. So, only thing I didn't do yet is the 5 million star catalog. So right now you see the galaxy, but you can see how like these objects here are just obscenely bright. So we're going to try to crank it down a wee bit, right? And then we're going to try to crank it down again. Whew! I lost our sun. Oh, there it is. I'm 500 light years from home. 100 light years. 120, 108, 90, 80, 78 light years. I lost our sun. Oh, there it is. It's in the middle. Ah, that's a good point. That's interesting, David. David says it also blocks our view of the Great Attractor. So in other words, people can't see me? Because you said it's blocking the view of the Great Attractor, and obviously you're talking about the Great Attractor. Well, I'm flattered. So it's really the same stars that are closer. What I would like to do is figure out how to maybe make it so that I could see more stars closer to us. Like, maybe like increase the visible magnitudes of stars within a certain radius, but also continue to hide or reduce the visibility of more distant stars. Because one of the things I noticed is that when you go to a normal magnitude level, like what we see here, when we go to a normal magnitude level, like what we see here, we could see like some nearby stars. Right? We got this guy here. We got Sirius. We got Procyon. And we got like Sagittarius. That's the sun right here. You can see the sun is in the middle of it as we're panning around. There's Alpha Centauri, which I know I keep saying that. It just so happens to be one of our neighbors. That's why it keeps coming up. Any of you guys ever watch Zax, by the way? Zax has a funny show called, I think they rotate, him and AJ, Abomination AJ, and maybe someone else. They rotate between each other hosting a show called Circle of Jerks. And it's really funny because, like, there's like, they play these funny video clips. And there was a scene where a guy goes knocks on a guy's door. It's like a young guy, he looks Hispanic, or maybe he's white. He knocks on the door, he's like, hi, we're installing solar panels for other neighbors, except instead of saying neighbors, he says the N-word. So he goes, hi there, we're installing solar panels for other N-words. And he goes, oh, man, I'm sorry, man. Like, he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, he's like, it was just so awkward, but like, it was almost like he says it with a smile, but he didn't mean anything by it. But clearly the guy had like that Freudian slip, or maybe that Tourette's slip, I don't know, but it was wild, man. And he plays that clip every other week, I think. And then the other one they play is this song where this guy sings a song called Trans People Are. It's a song called Trans People Are My Friends. And the guy sings it like in a rap, not a rap song, but like, you know, with the you know, stacked. Oh, oops, I typed in stacked. I meant to do exclamation point. And so basically the song, it's like, you know, when you record multiple audio tracks. Okay, it looks like I don't have Zax's channel programmed into my elements yet. Okay, I got to do that too. But anyway, that's basically what I wanted to share. But real quick, the last thing I want to share with you is this is a cool thing that that you get only in the paid version of whatchamacallit, of this you know, this app. It's called the Camera Path Editor. So we're gonna just make a test camera path, and we're gonna make a video to accompany the camera path. And essentially, what you do is you fly around here. So if I wanted to go to our solar system, I might do something like this. I'll do start recording, and it's not actually recording. What it's doing is it's gonna record the path. So right now it's literally like whether I'm controlling it manually, or thank you, David Glenn. Whether I'm controlling it manually, or I do the automatic thing to navigate to the solar system, this flight path was just recorded, you know, by itself. So now that we're in our star system, even me rotating it is going to get recorded on its own. So if I do like Jupiter, and we'll do a quick tour, and then I'll show you guys a demonstration. I'm going to do a very brief one because it can be very CPU intensive. And so right here, we're in the Jovian system now. And I can either continue to do it like this, or once I'm in position, I can decide to maybe manually fly in like I'm doing now, right? Obviously, the speed could be a little jerky without a gamepad. And then I could do this. Now it's like, once again, no gamepad. It's a little harder to be, you know, doing it the way I'd like to. And then we can go to Saturn, for example. And yes, I do have the orbits around Saturn of the dwarf moon. So normally you would only see yellow lines. You're seeing these orange lines right now because I enabled the orbital paths of the dwarf moons in addition to the actual major moons in orbit of both of these planets. So now that we got that ruled out, maybe what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little more CPU intensive. We're going to go into the ring system. Okay, so now you can see we're inside the ring, right? So this is basically what the rings of Saturn would look like if we were inside of them. And right now it's on pause, but if I did not pause the video, you would actually see these moving around like this. Now, once we record it, we're going to hit stop. And then this is where it gets interesting. So we can turn off the orbits if we want. Right? We can literally turn off the orbits. So we can press the O button to turn off orbits. And what we do is, over here, before we play back, so you can play it back like this. You can literally play it back like a VCR tape. You can literally go, and you can literally like see that purple line. It's literally following the entire path that I just took. And so what you do is, you hit this play button with a record button. It's going to do two things. It's going to follow the camera path that we just created. And it's going to generate a video based on these settings. But here's where it gets even cooler. I have it set for 60 frames a second. But maybe I want to do it at 120 frames a second. But normally, let's say my computer couldn't handle doing this at 120 frames a second. Instead, I could just type in 120 frames a second into these two boxes, and then when I run the recording, it will actually generate a recording. It'll actually generate a recording, even though I don't normally play it at 120 frames per second, it'll generate a recording at 120, but it'll do it at a slower frame rate. So right now we're going to hit play. And so the only caveat is if you leave the cursor on the screen, it becomes part of the recording. But right now, it's literally going to follow the camera path that we just generated. So it's going to fly into the sun. Then it's going to spin around the sun. Then it's going to fly to Jupiter. And we're not going to wait for that. But what we're going to do is we're going to look in the F9 menu for diagnostic purposes. And right off the bat, you're going to see something here. It says recording and engine frame rate, video and engine frame rate at 60 FPS, frames per second. But notice that the actual recording is running at only 29 or 30 frames a second. So normally the computer would be, if I was to do this in real time at 60 FPS while recording video, it would do an imperfect job. But because we're doing this at, in non-real time, it's doing it at 1/3 the real speed. It takes longer for it to generate the recording, but when you're done, you get a video that is like perfect. And so, of course, I wouldn't leave you guys without showing you what I mean by that. So let me get the video for you guys. And when I'm at work, I don't turn on my air conditioner. So my computer overheated like probably twice today while while I was running it, because I literally just let it run in a hotboxed. I hotboxed my computer. So let's see what I generated while I was at work today. So we did the I think we did the 30 million star catalog with the Gaia catalog. So we got two 1 gig files. So let's see what we got here. So this was the big one right here, and you can see this one's a bit overkill, right? A bit overkill. Yeah, that one's a bit overkill there, but the cool thing is that I could do multiple runs of this. So now here's what gets even cooler. Hey, I'm going to play this on the other monitor for you guys, and while that's happening, I'm going to open up DaVinci real quick, all right? And I promise we're going to end it right after this, because I need to get my ass to bed. So we're loading DaVinci Resolve right now, which is the preeminent video editing software. Stay for the rest of the stream, Bucky's Crafting. I swear I'm leaving in like 2 minutes. Nah, but jokes aside, Bucky, I appreciate the like. I'll take the like. And if you have a beverage or anything, if you can mail me a sandwich, that would be cool. I don't mean make a sandwich. I'm not trying to be sexy. I just mean that it would be cool if somebody would mail me a sandwich. Anybody, not just Bucky. If anybody wants to mail me a sandwich, send me a message on Twitter DMs, and maybe I'll give you my address. You can mail me a sandwich, and we'll do a show where maybe I can review a sandwich that came in the mail. And if the sandwich is properly ice packed, I'll even eat it on stream. So if that interests anybody, send me a message on Twitter X. That's a crazy idea. All right, there we go. I'm opening up the project right now, guys. I promise. All right, we're gonna get this. Hey, where's my buttons? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we don't need to play this back anymore because I already have the answer. But you can see how like this is the camera path. It's playing very smooth. I can record it at whatever frame rate. But now here's where the magic happens. You're gonna love this. You might not love this, but I like this. Uh-oh, something froze on me. That's weird. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. So in DaVinci Resolve, this is the editing software, and you're going to see two cool things. So down here, this is literally the same camera path. I recorded it like 6 times. And so as we play it in the timeline, you're going to see something cool. Because I recorded it 6 times, you'll notice on the bottom it looks darker, and as we get higher and higher, you notice there's more stars in each version of this. So I clipped the timeline at the bottom where I took the stuff from the second track and I put it over here. Then I took some stuff from the third track and I put it on the first track. So now this is something I'm going to be working on longer term, but let's play it back and just see what it does here. And I have a voiceover that goes with this that I synchronized using Audacity. So see how like by recording 2 separate things, it's like everything's in sync. But because I recorded it in 2 passes, I was able to record it with different settings in both passes. So now you see more stars, then it fades back to fewer stars. And then as we fly out, you're going to see the stars come back on in about 3, 2, 1. And then for like a couple of seconds, we pan around our solar system. And so when I edit this, I can say, oh, you know what? This is too crowded. And I can literally just go back to the way it was before. You know, I can like alternate basically. Or I could do it like this too. And then as we skip through, we're panning through the galaxy. And then we get back to this part here. So once again, let's do that again. We're zooming out and it's going to fade. And it's so seamless. Like I had this brainstorm and it said, holy shit, I could record multiple paths with the camera path editor. Or I could record multiple videos using the same camera path and end up with something like this. So yeah, I'm going to continue working on this here. And I have my voiceover audio track. You can see the voiceover is all the way to the right here right now. But it is more or less the same length as the actual generated camera path. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So I look forward to doing that. I have a couple other priorities in the near term. I got to finish a Linux training program. I have to, for like work, I have to, I want to finish my Godzilla vs. Hedorah video that I started on like last year. Literally, I made a video last year and never uploaded it. So now I want to go over the video and see how I can fix it. Maybe re-record part of it. Maybe re-watch that movie again. And the last thing I want to do is Stasis Field. Are you talking about the movie, the book Forever War? Oh, Stasis Field, yes. Yes, that's correct. That's the answer, Lion Ratton, by putting in a stasis field. That is absolutely correct. What up, Caleb Reynolds? So anyway, what the heck was I going to type in here? Real quick, let's see if we got this dude channel here. Hope this works. If it does, I'm going to have to share the channel to the YouTubes. All right. Let me pull up a channel real quick. Oh, good. Okay. So tomorrow night, you see a link in the chat, guys. That is Pops' channel. If you guys have ever seen the movie Pacific Rim, oops. If you ever seen the movie Pacific Rim and you want to see, you know, a discussion stream about Pacific Rim, yeah, check it out. I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be tuning into it late at work tomorrow. I was kind of invited when I mentioned an interest in the movie, but I was like kind of like shy about asking my boss for a day off right after requesting a different day off. And then like I was tempted to ask him the last minute today, but I didn't want to impose on anybody. And I also, you know, just figured that might as well, you know, I got this big zit on my face. So, you know, but anyway, jokes aside, but jokes aside, I am looking forward to that stream. So, yeah, I'm probably going to rewatch the movie Pacific Rim, you know, during my commute or lunch break tomorrow, but that stream should be tomorrow night at let's see, we're gonna get you guys a link to the stream itself, the actual live stream, so that it's easier to tune in. And oh my god, they're gonna talk about Shin Godzilla on the 18th. I might have to reach out to Pops about that one. Because I loved the movie Shin Godzilla. I liked it a lot. And I understand that people would leverage some valid criticisms about Shin Godzilla. And by the way, the mech from Pacific Rim is huge. And if I had more time, I would definitely show you a comparison of the sizes of different mechs. But unfortunately, we don't have time for that shit right now. And if you look up here, next week, they're going to do a video about Ultraman, Shin Ultraman. And you can see we got Pops, Ironcaster, and Stone Loki, whom I believe now goes by the moniker of Stone Cold Loki. So yeah, I definitely look forward to the Pacific Rim stream. I mean, you can see in the thumbnail right here. Look how big that shit is. Look how big the human mech is, yo. It's like bigger than the freaking Bayonne Bridge or the Sydney Bridge. Whichever one this is, it's bigger than the bridge. So that is freaking cool. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I do want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. And that would include, but not be limited to, Lady Mist, David Glenn, host. Oh, it just says Pops there. David Glenn again. Lion Ratton. Caleb Reynolds. Bucky's Crafting. We also had a Pop Culture Mechanic here. In addition to that, we had QEPX. And many... Oh, hey, what up? We had Real Wade Gaming Nation. And we had our boy Snowdub here, who may be having a show tomorrow night, too. I know Snacks is definitely having a show. Well, actually, I don't know if he's definitely having a show, but I know he's probably potentially having a show tomorrow night. And I think that about covers our bases. So anyway, we're going to play our outro. We're going to play it out. And I want to thank you all for hanging out, guys. You guys were all wonderful tonight. You know, usual stuff. You got any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please hit the button that does this if you like what you saw. If you disliked what you saw, please leave a thumbs down and a comment. You know, like, I mean, I value your feedback. And so if you dislike something, vote accordingly, and then, you know, then make your case. You know, I promise not to put you on blast, even if I think your reasons are stupid. As long as you don't insult me, you know, you just leave a somewhat respectful comment. Doesn't even have to be totally respectful. Just got to be like, I didn't like your video because you make fun of colonialism. It's like, okay, fair enough, you know? So there we go. And once again, 3 rights make a left. That is correct. So you get like 3 right wingers and you got a lefty. And David Glenn dislikes mushrooms. And that's a valid point. I mean, ever since Star Trek Discovery, I find it hard to eat mushrooms because, you know, mycology, it just isn't the same to me anymore after Star Trek Discovery. And with that...